Welcome to the enchanted forest of medieval times. In this challenge, you'll wield the medieval scale to write a Dark Ages song. Now picture this, right? A festive delight fills the air as young maidens dance amongst the trees. Intoxicated with ancient ale, a raucous riff flows from your fingertips. The magical raised six slices through the air like jousting knights. Chords of enchantment, E minor and A, reveal the castle's secrets. Now seize your guitar and charge into battle with a massive riff. This is Shred, and today we'll be learning the medieval scale on guitar. This is an incredibly cool sound. Now grab a front row seat as I deconstruct these magical tones using my composer's toolkit. You get the scale, chords, inversions, counterpoint, rhythm, and even an original piece. Now in part 2, I'll be breaking down an example composition in my DAW, programming drums, how to do equalization, compression, and more. If you feel stuck or uninspired, maybe you're unsure what to do next, 2025 is right around the corner here, maybe your motivation's low, and if you're just fed up with stagnation, it's time for a change. Check out all of my courses tabs, Discord, and even live classes actually on Patreon below. I'll put that link in the description. Now let's enter the magical domain of medieval metal, okay? And we're gonna start here with the letters of this musical language, which are, starting with the foundation, E, gives us our structure. Next, we move up to the neutral major second degree. And here on the third, we get our definition of tonality. There we go. And this has a melancholic sort of vibe to it. From there, we're going to move up to the stability of the perfect fourth. And next, we have the great unifier in the perfect fifth degree. Now here on the raised sixth, we have the target tone and that essential character-defining pitch in Dorian. It's what makes it different from regular minor. We have a twinge of light in a dark world. Now, we're going to resolve that with the introspective wisdom of the minor seventh D before getting back to the root E. And this really is the Dorian mode, but the medieval scale sounds way cooler, let's be honest. Now once we have the letters of our scale in this medieval language, we're going to move on to the words, and words are chords. So to form a chord from a scale, you select every other note, right? So we have our E, moving on to G, and then B. So that's going to spell basically an E minor chord. So here we go. We're going to put in our E minor. We'll use half notes for these. And we'll refer to these as the chords of enchantment. Next, we're going to move to the very important A sus chord. You might say, Shred's a little sus. today. And yeah, sometimes that is in fact the case. So let's put in some symbols here. E minor, and we'll call this A sus. And it's really like E minor and A is your core sound. But what I'm going to do, I like to just extend that tension before it's resolved with the A sus. So we go A sus, then we're going to go A. So we're going to take that D down to the C sharp, and then you come back for the resolution on the E minor. So we've got E minor there, and then we have A, which stands for ass. Okay, check it out. Absorb these chords of enchantment. I could listen to that all day. Absolutely beautiful. So, chords of enchantment. Let's get that in there. You can basically put people into a medieval trance with those. Now, people ask me, are those the only chords you can use for a particular sound? And the answer is yes, but you can use inversions to get more mileage and variation with the sound. Composition is really repetition and development. So make a statement and then say it in a different way. So here we can, let's use this E minor chord, right? A little different voicing. Then we'll go to this A major sound, and then I'm going to do E minor over G, and then we'll go A major like that, and then we're going to hit another E minor sound there. Let's go for an A here, and then we've got basically a full circle. So we came back around, and we're getting some. There we go. And finally, the last A. Let's just plug this guy in here. All of these chords are essentially just E minor and A going back and forth. So here's how it sounds. Magical. Lost in the forest of enchantment. Okay, so these will be the inversions of the forest, and it's just E minor and A in different voicings. Okay, we've got the letters, we've got the words, which are the chords, and now we have to make a sentence. We have to, carry our speaking into something that's actually musical. So if you really want to speak a language, you got to interface with people. And if you want to speak a musical language, you have to put into practice those primary tools of melody and harmony and rhythm, which we'll get into in a minute. So let's begin with some counterpoint here, the C word. And counterpoint is just how voices move. So it helps us be more thoughtful about creating strong lines. And we'll start there with the E minor. That's going to be like our A sound. And then we're going to target the raised 6th degree. It's beautiful, enchanting black clouds with silver linings. I feel like I'm quoting a Dream Theater record now. And I like to hang on that dissonance a little bit more. So I'm going to make a nice clash with the minor 7th and the raised 6th degree. Now, from there, I'm going to think really in my mind here about like an E minor 7 sound, moving to an A. Guitar Pro is like freaking out right now, but we're going to try to get through this. It's moving very slow. Now, from here, did I just write myself into a hole? Maybe. Let's see if we can exit with that. And then I'm going to again set up a nice moment here with the raised 6th degree, which I find beautiful. Then what we're going to do, oh dude, check this out. I love that major 7th interval. And then we're going to go with that vibe, and then we're back home. Now, does that make any sense at all? Let's find out. So, oh yeah, let's do that. Okay. This is something you could use for your riffs if you put some chugs in between, and I'll show you how to do that here. So castle, counterpoint. That's what this is, really. Beautiful. Okay, now what we need finally is a rhythm to really get us going. So I'm gonna do like a sort of staggered boom, 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 boom swing rhythm, which, you know, just imagine, you know, these minstrels, you know, engorged on ancient ale in the forest, you know, lop stepping around. So I'm not sure if lop stepping is a word, but that's in the Shred dictionary. So here we go. We've got our quarter note to an eighth note, and that's going to give us that sort of swing vibe. So I'm going to copy and paste this over so that we get like our measure of that, and we're going to do 2 measures of that. So here's the rhythm. So much energy in that pulse. Now from here, the crazy thing is it's like an equation. All you have to do is plug in these values. So let's do that. We'll start with that one, and let's see, how is this gonna work? Should we do it every, let's try this. Yeah. Okay, we'll go back to that one, and then let's do the one with the raised sixth, and then we'll even do that little dissonant clash there, and then maybe for this last part I'm thinking actually let's just rep some regular power chords without the rhythm. So we'll go like this, and then I want to go, this is going to be nice. That's a beautiful sound. But these, I want to be quarter notes. Okay. Good. So we get the idea here. Check this out. And it's not quite the full bar there. But anyway, that gives us the rhythm combined with the scale and the chords, which, you know, the counterpoint is essentially a combination of those scale and chords. But here with this method, you can literally write music systematically with this toolkit, and at least, you know, it may not be the final form that your composition takes, but it gives you a quick launch pad to establish momentum and get going in the right direction. Now join me in part 2 as I break down an example composition in my DAW, and we're going to go over a couple of things. One, programming drums, how to do a basic version of that. And the second thing we're going to talk about is compression and equalization over multiple bands. Now here we are in Logic Pro, and I want to play you a short medieval metal composition that I composed to give you an example of how you could combine those composer element toolkit items into an actual piece of music. Here we go. The party's on. Everybody's clogged on ancient ale. Knights are jousting in the forest. There's that rhythm we talked about. Okay, a nice melody of enchantment. Some chugs here, some chainmail chugs. Grand finale. Counterpoint. I really like the way the counterpoint turned out there. It just sounds very festive. Now, I want to talk about something that you guys ask questions frequently on, which is programming drums. So a lot of people will use loops, but if you're looking for a really specific sound and hits in very particular places, programming drums is probably the sound you're after. And I'm just using Easy Drummer as a plugin here. And I want to show you a way that you can do this. I actually typically, well, not typically, I always use the score window. So I'm looking at the notes of the drums. Whoops. But we're going to do, I know that most guitar players don't read music. So what we're going to do is look at the piano roll window right here in Logic. Now, regardless of the DAW you're using, every DAW will have a piano roll. So it's going to be the same basic concept. But let's start from the beginning here. So what you want to do first is select your drum track, and then I'm going to get my pencil tool out and create a sequence object. So once you have a sequence object, 1, 2, 3, let's see how many bars. Yeah, I got 4 bars here. And then you double click on that to get the piano roll editor to come up. So what we're going to do is just lay down a very basic template of drums in 4/4 time. And this is a great place to start. So number one, we want a kick in. And the kick always comes on beat 1. So we've got that plugged in. And another common place to hear your kick drum is actually on beat 3. So let's see if we can find beat 3. 1, 2, 3. That should be it. And we'll put in our metronome so we know where we're at. 2, 3, 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Now, from there, what I'm going to do actually is put a snare drum in. And the snare always comes on beats 2 and 4. That's where we feel it most. So I'm going to spank that in there. And then let's see if we can hit 4. Now check it out. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now that's one basic bitch drum line there. But we can make it more interesting. So check this out. The last thing we want to do is really get a hi-hat involved. That's that B flat note. So, whoops, I missed it. And with the hi-hat, you can actually just put that on every beat in the measure. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. And now we have something like this. Right? And that's probably not going to win you a Grammy, you know, for programming that drum beat, but it does get you started. So then you can copy and paste that out and get something, you know, that's going to drive your song. Okay. Now, I did want to just give you a little bit of a variation strategy you could use. Like, let's say you wanted to kind of do something a little bit different. Let's say, let's put our snare on B3 and kind of anticipate that a little bit with the kick. Now, that's not quite what I wanted. Let's see. This is hard to get the right. Yeah, that's more what I'm thinking. And then let's make the kick on B4. And a pro tip here is see how there's different notes for the kick? So there's 3 different kicks. Use different ones because what that does is it varies the tone color, makes it sound more realistic as if an actual person was playing. So now we have, right? And that's, you know, that's another groove. When you're programming drums, what you want to do is just have a bunch of different like templates where it's like, okay, here's this kind of groove and that kind of groove, and then being able to add variations on those is key. So let's do another short variation here. I don't even know what I'm doing here. How's that gonna? That's gonna be a little whack. Oh, maybe not. It sounds cool. That's got like a nice syncopated groove to it. Okay, so all together we have, starts out really plain, varies, Another very. Yeah. Okay. So that's a way that you can get your drum programming started, and it's something that takes, some time and practice. But give it a go and let me know what you think. Now, from here, I did want to cover a really game-changing idea, which is multi-band compression. So if I pull up my multipressor here in Logic, I want to show you the difference between using this tool and not using the tool. So here is not using the tool. Now with the tool plugged in, whoa, there's a big difference there. We hear a lot of increase in high frequencies. It's a lot richer sound. So without, turned off, turned on, turned off, turned on. I don't know how much of that you guys can hear, hopefully everything. But what I want to do is just run you through a quick and dirty tutorial of how to use this tool. So step one, recall default. So we want to zero out the board, so to speak. Imagine we've entered into the studio, right? And we used to have those manual machines where we move the faders and everything. And so basically I just reset the system. Now, what you want to do here is set up a loop in the background. I'm going to turn this down a little bit so I can talk through. What am I? Oh, I'm turning down just the drums. Okay, I got to turn down everything. Okay, now we're going to start with the high frequencies. Grab this fader, compress until you see this blue line come down to about the 5. That's some, not too aggressive compression. And then what you do is you make up the gain that you just reduced there. So we're going to go up about 5. Okay, moving to the next band here. So I'm going to move now to band 3, which is like your high mids. Okay, compress down to that 5. Then we're going to make up the gain. And we can come back and dial this in a minute. I just want to get the basic idea down. Now we're going to move on to band 2, which is our mids, our low mids. Get that compression going, and then make up gain. Good. Last one, low frequencies, compress, and then make up the gain. Okay, now let's come back and fine tune. A little more high frequencies for sure. Kind of using your ears here. And go to the extreme, like go all the way down, go all the way up, just so you can find the virtue and the vice there. And just following your ears. Whoa, that's way too much, not enough. Find some middle ground. Too much bass, not enough bass, right? Okay, so there's a quick and dirty version. So now we've got, there's the difference. That's on, that's off. So this makes a huge impact on your recording sound. Like this is going to take it more into that professional level. So try out multi-band compression, essentially, is what we're doing. And I'm sure every DAW would have their own version of this. Now, it is time for you to write your own medieval composition. Use the Composer's Toolkit as inspiration and commune with the ancient lost souls of King Arthur's Round Table and make a raucous riff that inspires me. I can't wait to hear it. Post yours in the Discord chat, and I'll be listening soon.